Passed. Now may I have an approval for special meeting minutes of March 13, 2019? May I have approval for the approval of the minutes of the special meeting held on March 2019?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta second. All in favor? Aye. 4-0. Motion passed. Now may I have a motion for our regular meeting minutes of March 18, 2019?
I'll move.
Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second? I have a second.
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Motion approved. At this time, we're going to reports. We will have a report for student body representative activity reports on school activities, including athletic, academic, and extracurricular activities. Ruby Lopez will be speaking on behalf of Paramount High School.
Good evening, my name is Ruby Lopez and I am ASB student at Paramount High School, Senior Campus. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to President Carmen Gomez, entire school board, Superintendent Dr. Perez, and all others who are in attendance for tonight's meeting. Life at PHS has been extremely busy. A couple of weeks ago, our administration team surprised the entire student body with a special assembly. Unlike our traditional assemblies, students were treated with the music and dance festival that was sponsored by High School Nation. Students had the opportunity to try different instruments and participated in dance tutorials. The highlight of the festival was a performance by the Plain White Tees. A huge thanks to our administration team, especially Dr. Dragos, for making this possible. Also, just this past Friday, Paramount High School hosted the second annual Powder Puff Game. We had over 2,000 Pirate fans in attendance for the event, which saw the underclassmen beat the seniors 22-0. Power 106 and K-Day radio stations DJ'd the event and provided some giveaways to lucky Pirates. It was such a great event and we are already looking forward to the next one. Tomorrow, all juniors and seniors will be taking the cast, followed by our open house later in the day. Finally, I would like to wish everyone a happy and restful spring break. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Ruby. Next will be Ana Guevara from Paramount High School West Campus.
Good evening, Board President Gomez, board members, Superintendent Dr. Perez, Executive Cabinet, and audience. My name is Ava Guevara, and I am the new ASB President representing Paramount High School West Campus. Class of 2022 and Paramount High School West Campus would like to congratulate Mr. Pasquale for Teacher of the Year and Ms. Bernal for Employee of the Year. We are very proud of our special Pirates. March has been a busy month for us. We have finished registering for 10th grade classes, participated in one of our college and career lessons, and cheered on our fellow Pirates in last Friday's Powder Puff Game. On Monday, April 1st, our avid students visited Long Beach City College. They were given a personalized experience on dual enrollment, community college, honors, and transferring process to four-year universities. Our ASB, JROTC, and wonderful counselors are visiting our district's middle schools to share information about high school, 9th grade registration, and student involvement. Class of 2023 is learning the Pirate way. Lastly, we will celebrate students who earned a 3.0 and higher GPA with our annual Day of the Scholar on Wednesday, April 24th. There will be carnival games, food, and music for those students to enjoy, and congratulate them for their academic achievements. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Anna. Next, we'll have Samantha Avendano from Buena Vista High School.
Good evening, President Gomez, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Perez. It is my pleasure to be here tonight representing Buena Vista High School. With the first 3 quarters now completed and spring break quickly approaching, both students and staff are gearing up for a well-deserved break. The Eagles are making final preparations for our participation in the various state tests that are now upon us. Whether it is science, language arts, or math assessments, Buena Vista students are ready to give it their best. We will hold our open house on Wednesday, April 10th. Our parents are invited to visit the school and see many opportunities their students have to demonstrate their learning as we prepare for college and our careers. We will also hold our 5th annual College and Career Fair on April 10th. Students will have the opportunity to meet with over 25 representatives from various colleges and industries. Our next Free Goals trip is scheduled for May 3rd. Students will travel to the Griffith Observatory to learn the latest about space exploration. Thank you for your attention this evening. May you all have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, Samantha. Next would be Sakura Ponce from Odyssey STEM Academy.
Good evening, Board President Gomez, Superintendent Perez, members of the board, executive cabinet, and community members. Odyssey started our 3rd trimester with a fun field day where the 6 advisors competed in team building activities against each other for bragging rights. We played human shapes, we carried a ping pong ball around in groups of 8, and we had to get a ball through the center hole in a tarp full of holes. I'm proud to say that my advisory, Team Baca, won. So, our new X Block session started up too, offering classes like arts and crafts and photography. In X Block, we get to meet people we haven't met before, and we find new ways to express ourselves. Recently, we've added new clubs to our campus, including laser cutting, photography, and a language learning class, and many more. Last week, we also hosted Joan, the owner of Dreamcatcher Los Angeles, who will be our client for our design challenge during this trimester. We will design and install sensory trail segments in her facility. She visited every class and answered our questions about horse therapy and sensory trails. She will return in a few weeks along with some of the facility's clients for what we call a mid-review, and they will evaluate our progress and give us feedback. Last week, Odyssey welcomed the class of 2023 and their families for the first of 4 family connection events for incoming 9th graders. The night was all about building community and making new friends. Currently, Odyssey Scholar Ambassadors hosted the 4 sessions where the families rotated through photo booth, scholar profile surveys, mandala sidewalk art, and an All About My Family mural activity. Next year, when I think of being a 10th grader, I feel extremely nervous but yet very excited. I'm looking forward to meeting the new 9th graders and continuing my journey here at Odyssey. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakura. Next is Jasmine Hernandez from Paramount Adult School.
Good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Dr. Perez, executive cabinet, and guests. Thank you again for the opportunity to share all the wonderful activities occurring on our campus. First, adult school teacher each selected the student of the month for the month of March. Congratulations to all the selected adult students who have been working hard during the spring semester. Moreover, the past students participated with a PEP scholarship fundraiser and generously donated money during March Madness. We are happy to report that we surpassed last year's contribution. This year, we donated a total amount of $2,704. Special thanks to Roberto, lunch truck owner, Barry from Bending One, and Dennis from Pizza Press for helping us with the fundraiser. Next, the Paramount Adult Transition students have been busy with the Workability program. We appreciate our community business partners for participating and supporting our PAT students with their life skills and independence. Not only are they learning valuable life skills, but they are also earning money. Furthermore, all 4 classes went to various community-based instruction field trips. For example, Ms. Alfaro's class went to the Japanese garden at Cal State Long Beach. The students enjoyed walking around the tranquil garden and pond. Ms. Alfaro's and Mr. Butler's classes went together to a Buddhist temple in Hacienda Heights. They enjoyed the beautiful gardens and learned about the Buddhist art and culture. Mr. Butler's students also visited Peterson's Automotive Museum. The students enjoyed all the exhibits, especially the Hot Wheels. Mr. Alonso's class visited the Pico Rivera Plaza and the Fire Station Museum in the city of Bellflower. Finally, the Community Day School students are participating weekly in restorative circles with Mrs. Kelly Gray. The students discuss hot topics and actively participate in circle activities with mindful exercises. The exercises help students cope with the everyday peer pressures they are facing today. Furthermore, Ms. Chavarria and Mr. Weller took students to a field trip to Long Beach City College. They took a tour of college with current students and learned valuable information about what the college offers the students. At the end, the CDS students were treated to lunch the Habit Burger Grill in Paramount. As you can see, there are many wonderful things happening at the Paramount Adult School, PAC, and CDS. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Jasmine. Now I'll dismiss all the students so they can go home and do some homework or study for
Ready for
finals.
tests, yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. We will now have the employer representative report. Employer representative report reports on contractual issues and/or items of interest to bargaining unit members. To begin, we will have Representative Ms. Kim Goldfort.
All right. Good evening, President Gomez, School Board, Superintendent Perez, Executive Cabinet, and guests. Well, the fourth quarter has begun, and all the fun end-of-the-year festivities are going to be here before we know it. But first, our kids will be taking the SBAC tests later this month, and we know that they're going to show some great success, and we're looking forward to seeing those results. As you know, safety and discipline has been an ongoing concern with the teachers and staff here in Paramount. We do have to tell you that we appreciate the open communication from the school board and Dr. Perez in keeping us updated with emails. The transparency has been valuable. Paramount School District has been growing, and the community has been really supportive of all the changes, innovations, and implementations of new programs that will help support the many diverse needs of our students, and we appreciate that. I am proud to represent the amazing, loving, caring teachers of our district. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Now we will have our CSEA report from Miss Joanne Gardner, if she's here. Nope. All righty. She's not here, so we'll go to number 3, board members report, reports on visits to schools, conferences attended, or scheduled meetings. Board member De Leon.
Good evening. Thank you for being here, especially on a Monday. Nobody likes to go to work on Monday, but we have to. And not only that, we're here today, you're here today, which is really important, and I appreciate that. I promise to keep this brief. I'm not going to be as detailed as I was last time. But I attended the following. I attended the California Association for Bilingual Education, or the CABE conference, where I learned about great parent engagement programs. And so that's something that I'm going to further look into. Besides attending the CABE conference, I attended our local accountability plan, which is the LCAP meeting, where I learned students are requesting to improve their education. I'm proud, especially proud of 5th graders who at this age could tell us what they need, and they're telling us we need additional support, not only in math, but also in reading, which is great because kids usually don't tell us that they want more help, and that's great. Of course, there's more details, but I won't really get into that. If anything, I really encourage parents to participate, to be engaged. In addition to that, I also attended the opening day ceremony for the Paramount Youth Soccer Organization, PYSO, where there was hundreds of parents in attendance. I saw many parents engage with supporting our students to participate in activities that promotes exercise, friendship, and so much more. I attended the PTA honorary service award banquet. And during my spring break, yes, during my spring break, I visited the following schools: Collins Elementary, Odyssey High School, Buena Vista High School, Gaines Elementary, Jackson Middle School, Alondra Middle School, Zamboni Middle School, Keppel Elementary, Tanner Elementary, Holladale Elementary, and Paramount West Campus. I had to take a day off, so otherwise I think I would have visited them all. And as my promise, I'm here not only for parents, but I'm also here for the teachers and to voice their concerns through me. And what I notice in Odyssey, there's need for signage. It's hard for parents to find where do we go in. So that's a confusion that that not only I found myself in, but other parents as well. And then when I went to Zamboni, and that's a school where it's going to be remodeled, I noticed that there wasn't a big band room, and I was going to really heavily advocate for a band room. But then when I visited Hollydale and the need for Hollydale to be improved, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I wonder, if the community could be more involved in the oversight committee for Measure I, because it's important that we have equity in where our funds are going and who needs them the most. I mean, the school is really outdated. I felt like it went back into the past. It was like in the 70s. Not to age myself, but I was born in the 70s. So it was really old. The library is in dire need to be in the 21st century standards. It was really sad to see the school in these conditions. In addition to that, I also attended the Parent Advisory Committee meeting, which was held on a Friday. I also went to the Paramount City Council meeting, and then I went to Alondra Middle School open house. And lastly, I attended a forum of school facilities by the California School Boards Association, where they talk about bond measures, and so it was really insightful. One thing that I have to applaud Downey Unified is that their oversight committee has bylaws. I know we in Paramount Unified are used to just the minimal, just making sure that we're at legal compliance, but we should whatever other schools nearby have, we should be having the same, if not better. I think our community deserves at least better. We could at least try to be like Downey, if not better. So I would like to see bylaws for the oversight committee. I would like to see meetings. I know that we only hold one meeting. It's hard to tell when that meeting is going to take place. Downey Unified has their website where it tells you they have two meetings annually. And I know by law you're supposed to have one, but when you do more than one, at least two, that means you're going over and beyond. So I hope we could do the same. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member De Leon. Next will be Board Member Hanson.
Thank you. I just attended the LCAP meeting, and to piggyback on what De Leon said, it is interesting to see what the students say, and all grade level students and parents just had so many nice comments and suggestions for us. I also attended the City Council meeting for the reorganization and for the PTA Honorary Service Awards, and that's it for me. Have a great week off. Enjoy your time. You've earned it. It's been a long time since the break at winter, and everybody's been working hard. Enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Hanson. Next is Board Member Cuarenta.
I have nothing to report at the moment. Thank you,
Thank you
President
very
Gomez.
Thank you very much, Board Member Cuarenta. I also went to the City Council meeting for the reorg and for presentations. I also went to the PTA awards. I also hosted a staff forum for the students of climate and safety. And as you all are aware, there have been several fights on our campuses in the last few months. I met with teachers this past Friday on the Paramount High School West Campus and the high school, and many of them are afraid to speak up because of fear of retaliation from the superintendent and administration. I assure everyone present that when I call a meeting to meet with teachers, staff, and parents, it is a safe place and there will be no retaliation. We as a board need to hear from our constituents, and the only way we are going to do this is by giving everyone a safe place to do it. It was a great meeting. It was not well attended for the same reason, but I promise that I will be doing these meetings quarterly. I would have loved to have parents, but since it was a last minute decision that I made, I'm going to go see the parents in 2 weeks, I believe, right after the
Spring break.
The spring break. Principal Salcedo was going to have a meeting. And after that, I assure you that after May 10th, that following week, I will be meeting with all constituents, teachers, parents, administration, so we can all get together, because we all have to collaborate in order to find out how we can make Paramount a better district and to help with public safety, because we do have issues. I'm not saying they're big issues, but one bad apple, we don't need any bigger apples than what there already have been. So hopefully we can all see you at those meetings so you can also give your input. But believe me, if there is any retaliation, I will assure you that I will address them. Thank you. Now we're going to the superintendent report, a report on visits to schools, conferences attended, and legislation, meeting and/or activities scheduled throughout the district, recognition and accommodations.
Thank you, President Gomez. I want to also ditto the recent wonderful events that we had with PTA Honorary Council event that was very beautiful, and the food was actually prepared by our own students, and it was delicious. And also, I wanted to share that, March Madness has ended, and as a district, our students, with the help of their parents and their teachers, our administrators and district office, who was selling tacos last week and doing some other fundraising events, and with the combination of March Madness and the Quartermania event, we will be able to donate to the Paramount Education Partnership $96,000 for students to receive scholarships this year. That's over $250,000 over the last 3 years, and I can't tell you the joy it is to be able to award a check to students who apply for help in going to college. So that is just fabulous. And I want to share with you all that I had the opportunity to visit Sacramento to testify before the Assembly Education Committee, advocating for AB 751, which is a bill that would allow us in the 11th grade to give our students, which we do anyway, the SAT, and eliminate the SBAC, or at least have a choice. Districts across the state of California would have a choice to give either the SAT or the SBAC. A lot of districts have moved towards providing the SAT for free for students, as we have over the last 2 years. And the whole thrust in this is that we test so much, and our teachers need more time to teach versus to test. So I feel very passionate about that, and I had the opportunity to testify. It is a bill that is sponsored by, he's totally behind it, is Patrick O'Donnell, Assemblymember Patrick O'Donnell, and is also sponsored by the State Superintendents Association. And we hope that with a new governor and a new state board president, the bill might have a chance to pass. Aside from that, I think that is all I have, because we have several presentations this evening. Madam President, I'm going to skip around a little bit because I don't see our attorney yet, but I'd like Mr. Frutos to provide us with an environmental update, and then that will be followed by IQ Air Foundation.
Glad to. Good evening, board members and Superintendent, colleagues. You have a handout that we have provided you today, and the goal today is to give you a little bit of background. As the board knows, we have now concluded the latest indoor air quality report, and the results have been posted to our website. Our understanding is that in our partnership with the Department of Public Health, they are also publishing it, and they have developed some synopsis of some of that work. Our interest is to also meet with the staffs of the two sites, Lincoln and Gaines, that had the report. But one of the things that we did in this two-page report is to give you some background in some of the work that the district has done, not just in the area of testing, but also in the area of the development of some of the systems that we have. So this is for your reading. The one area that I wanted to mention to you is that there is a goal as part of our ongoing initiatives to replace as much equipment as possible. And with that, we always look at opportunities for both funding and opportunities to replace our equipment. The largest one that we have had in the last 3 years is Proposition 39. Proposition 39 is a grant that the district applied. The Board of Education gave us the authority to do that, and it brought the district several $1 million that have been used primarily for three purposes. One, for the replacement of air conditioning systems throughout the district. Second, for the replacement of lighting systems. I'm sorry, I should have said lighting systems first, primarily lighting systems. And three, window coverings. So if you go to any of our facilities, you will see, like in the back of this room, window coverings that are providing some additional energy efficiency. So this gives you a little bit of history on some of the processes that we've done. And then we also included a diagram on the approach that the district has had to the procurement of systems that either have to do with comfort or with environmental and control systems. With that, we have a presentation, if it's okay with Dr. Perez. We have been in communication with IQ Air for about the last week or so, and they provided us an updated presentation on a grant that they have mentioned that they work on. At the same time, the district has been in communication with the Port of Long Beach, and I'm happy to tell you that so this morning we have agreed on the number of schools that qualify. According to the Port of Long Beach, it's 5 schools that we have that are in what they call the priority zone. We are going to try for 6, but we tried that address of the 6th one and it wouldn't fit within the software. But IQ Air is one of the companies that participates in this facilities grant. The way the Port of Long Beach explained it to us, and obviously IQ Air have a lot of expertise in this area, is that the district has to apply. We have to create a cost spreadsheet, and we also have to do a request for proposals. Those are the 3 components of the grant. So without further ado, I'm going to have IQ Air explain components of the grant. The presentation has been loaded, and I hope it's the latest one we have.
That's okay.
You can just enter that too.
Cool. Thank you. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My thanks to the board, President Gomez, Superintendent Perez, board members, executive board members, and our lovely guest. My name is Nancy Danella. I am the Community Outreach Director for the IQ Air Foundation. I want to introduce Dondria McAllister. She is our Community Engagement Specialist who will be leading the charge for POLB, Port of Long Beach grants. So just want to kind of brief you a little bit about IQ Air. I have had the pleasure, and I mean pleasure, of working with communities in the state of California, environmental groups, school districts, parents, teachers, on educating them and talking about how IQ Air Foundation can help bring clean air technology to children around the state and even going forward to around the country. Through the Clean Air for Kids program, IQ Air Foundation has a goal to bring at least 5,000 additional school children every year, it's so cold in here, as part of the foundation's long-term goal. And our long-term goal is providing clean air to more than 1 million children. It's a good goal, right? You know, just to give all these kids a chance to breathe. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this. Many of these children, as you know, suffer from asthma or other respiratory illnesses. We would like to advise the board and of air filtration that is currently available, as Mr. Flores said, from the Port of Long Beach, POLB. According to my research, we found that there were 6 schools eligible, but you said 5, but we saw 6, which was Tanner, Los Cerritos, Keppel, Gaines, Jackson, and Zamboni. So 6 schools are available for air filtration. Additionally, I wanted to mention that there's also grants that I help write. We call them SEPT, Supplemental Environmental Program, that we write and help the schools get clean air technology. So besides the Port of Long Beach, there's additional help that we could bring to the other schools that do not fall into the priority zone. So I just want to make you aware that we can do additional schools through a SEP program. I want to reiterate, this is free, no cost to the school at all. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. And also for the POLB grants, timing is of essence. We have to get the applications into POLB by May 6th, 4 p.m., right? So that is the important component of the Port of Long Beach grants. Let me just take you a couple things through the IQR Foundation, and I won't get into too much. But, you know, as I said, you know, we're seeking to really help communities and neighborhoods affected by pollution as a result of ethnic, economic, or racial factors. Through the Clean Air for Kids program, it's over 1 million children that we want to bring clean air to. Pollutants in Paramount. As you know, all these schools, many of the schools are located by freeways. Schools, Port of Long Beach, the traffic on the 710 and 91, oh my. Oh, that 710 was truck after truck after truck. I was amazed. CO2, that's released from diesel trucks, metal forging emissions, refineries, factories, and other industry components. Mitigation. You know, it'd be great if we could wait 20 years and make sure everything is going terrific as planned. However, we don't have 20 years, right? We've got to get clean air today for these children. What happens on this Clean Air for Kids program, it's detrimental, especially to younger children. That's the early development years where they're learning, they're absorbing. These pollutants can cause so many different factors. They're breathing ultrafine particulate matter that gets into their lungs and gets into their bloodstream. The result is, we see it all the time, learning difficulties, that's for one. Accelerated Alzheimer's, aggravated asthma, decreasing lung function, and increased respiratory symptoms. Thank you, Dondra. So what's the key? Clean air for schools, right, and communities, but we're really focusing on the schools because of the children. And it can't happen by ourselves. It can't happen with just the parents or the teachers or the schools. This is a collaboration, right, guys? This has to be, everybody's concerned, everybody wants to do this. So we want the district, of course, to be in with us. That just jumped. Sorry. That's okay. Parents, teachers, and of course the school district. And with Port of Long Beach, we have an immediate opportunity for grants. Next one. Oh, we're here. So the benefits of the Clean Air program, it provides up to and including 90% reduction of pollutant particulates in the air. Quieter classrooms. The program quiet classrooms suffering from many noisy HVAC systems and brings recommended sound down to 45 decibels. The road traffic, road to becoming clean air for children includes 3 steps. So we incorporate 3 steps in this process. First is an assessment. We have certified technicians in HVAC systems that come out and evaluate the school systems to understand what's going on there. Do they have a new HVAC system? What is needed to really bring that clean air to those children? In some cases, many schools, they don't have an HVAC system. So what we do are standalone units. And the standalone units could be mounted on the wall so they're out of the way of the teachers and the children, because we all know there's not a lot of space in those classrooms. So we want to make it efficient. There are funding opportunities, as I mentioned, the Port of Long Beach air filtration grant, 5-6 schools. The second thing is the State of California Supplemental Environmental Program that I can help propose. We have a baseline application that has been accepted by CARB, as this is what has to be submitted to get funding. And we've seen the success. You know, we've gotten approval for Coachella Valley, for Northern California, for Oakland Unified School District. So we've seen the success of that. It takes a little longer because they're waiting on funding from polluters, but there is a possibility, even through the SEP program, of getting clean air. Our process is installation of one of the combinations that we recommended for HVAC system. And after that, we have a verification process of air cleaning and specialists that come out to the schools and make sure that it's meeting all the requirements. And ongoing, it's continuing monitoring and servicing. When we are installing, after the installation, we do a training that we hand out pamphlets, which I have with me, to the teachers and to the children, telling them what this air filtration means to them. So it's a learning process. So it's getting them more in the mindset of environmental literacy. What do they need to understand about particulate matter? Administrators at the school play an important role. We play an extremely important role. Success requires collaboration, which I've mentioned before. Engaging the teachers and staff, that's number one. Dialogue to support the requirements of the program. We send a pamphlet out so everyone's aware of the Clean Air for School program. We even have a plaque once we install, which is pretty cool, that goes in front of the school that says it's a clean air school. And it designates, you know, to the parents that, you know what, my district really cares about these children breathing clean air. It's just another plus. Hosting introductory, as I mentioned, on-site meetings for the teachers, facilities, maintenance, or other key staff. We'd be glad to come out there and do some more meetings and engage in community-wide media events. So if there are events at the school, outside media, we'd love to engage. We have our PR spec manager here. Love to get engaged in all the events. Tiffany. So what, you know, for our program, there has been monitored success over the years. Right now, our success has been, we've been tested from South Coast Air Quality Management District, where there has been results that have come out from the performance evaluation, and this was in 2010. And the research comparatively that IQ Air Foundation beats any filtration system out there. A pilot study that was done at South Coast Air Quality Management on 9 classrooms, and these were 3 elementary schools in 2 different districts: Los Angeles Unified School District and Del Amo, and Domingos Elementary, Long Beach Unified School District. The effectiveness of these 3 purification systems reduced and removed contaminants. HVAC was based in performance, registered-based air purification, and standalone systems were placed in these schools. What happened? The findings removed up to 90% of diesel soot, particulate matter, and other pollutants in classrooms. So this has been tested time and time again with South Coast Air Quality Management District and approved at the level of California Air Resource Board. Oh, thank you. Customized solutions are included for all schools. So, you know, this is not cookie cutter. These are specialized, customized solutions. We want to make sure we're doing the best fit for each school. So it's not across the board. It is very, very particular. We have air quality monitors, which I'll get into a little bit, upgraded HVAC panel filters, standalone air filtration, diffusers and other HVAC upgrades, HVAC silencers, and filter life sensors. Air quality managers, air quality monitoring. So we put this device, about 3 of them will go into each school. It's called the Air Visual Pro. This has been incredibly fantastic as far as what we're getting as far as response from the schools, from the air district. This little monitor measures PM 2.5 and CO2, soon to be including VOC, volatile organic compounds. So soon it will be there. This, you can view data, international network of all air districts, air quality monitors. So you can use this and say, where is the air quality in China? You can find this out. But the important thing on this air quality monitor is you can start baselining the improvement from when you started to as it goes. And the students can start getting involved. And the aftercare teachers can get involved in really teaching them more about how to read these monitors for improvement. This Air Visual, we have an app for it. It's absolutely free. You can view it on your phone, you put it on a screen, absolutely free, and you own the data, not us. So clean air technology. It's just time to make a difference for the classrooms. There's money available now from Pole. We just need to get it in time to meet those applications. And we're here to help on SEP applications. We just want to help bring clean air for these children so they can live healthy lives. And you guys can improve your ADA and really help these kids improve in school. Thank you. Is there any questions?
I have one. If we were to apply, what is the likelihood of us getting accepted, and what are the amounts?
So, so far it has been posted that POLB has $400,000 available for technology. However, and Tiffany could attest to this because she was here last year, they have awarded more. Last year, IQ Air Foundation, I believe it was $724,000 was awarded for air filtration. So we want to put in as much as possible. Those 5 to 6 schools are in priority zone. They have priorities -- looked at. So those are some of the factors that POLB looks at. And I believe that the notification from them comes, how long was it after? A couple of months?
Yeah, it wasn't very long. It was probably anywhere from 30 to 60 days.
60 days. So we would know if these schools were eligible under the POLB grant. But keep in mind, if you're not eligible under POLB, we'll write a SEP for them. We'll put them through California Air Resource Board, and we'll ask the state to try to give us money for these schools to put in air filtration. We just want clean air.
And keep
How
in
long
mind,
does it take to do the assessments? About, approximately.
roughly each assessment for the school will take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, depending upon, we send anywhere from 2 to 4 technicians to each assessment.
Thank you.
So it also depends on the size of the school.
And you guys are close, and we're in La Mirada, so, I mean, we could easily turn this around very quickly. We just really want to express, your advocacy in helping us do this, and we can give the information to Mr. Flores so he can upload. We'll do all the costing, send it to Mr. Flores, and we do it all. We would even submit the application, but I believe Paul wants it to come from the school.
And the other thing is, we can also send our technicians out when it's best for the school. So if it's during spring break or on an off day, our technicians will be available.
So I have like a million questions. No, just kidding. I have a lot of questions. One comment, it's something that I've been saying because of research, and I see that air pollutants in the air do cause learning disabilities. So that was interesting that you found that as well. I'm interested in learning about the AC or HVAC system is quieter than the actual AC units that we would have, or?
No,
It's not the HVAC system that's quieter, it's the system that we install that has a silencer that allows us, or we had to meet state of California standards by keeping it below 45 decibels. So it's a mounted filtration system.
Okay, and then, I know I have like 1,000, but hold on. I know you mentioned a piece where it's very important for there to be collaboration between teachers, staff, parents, students. So who provides the collaboration? Is it something that you do as a company? Is it something that you go, here's some PowerPoints, or here's some literature, you know, do it on your own? How does that?
So I work primarily at the community group level. If they have task force meetings, or we will go to any town hall meetings. If you guys invite us to an event, we would be there. We would be happy to participate in any events. We'd love to bring more education to the parents, to the teachers, to the children. So it's just up to the school district where you think we would fit, and we would be there and doing the training.
There's another question. I noticed that you mentioned the Southern California, or the South Coast Air Quality Management District, or SCAQMD. They did a study. Is it the same study that Dr. Polidori did, or is it a different study?
I think Dr. Polidori did a different study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
A
I
more
know.
recent study.
I know that there are concerns about, you know, some people have mentioned that doors open, kids come out, and so does that impact now? Because right here it's saying that it's 90%, it removes 90% of the diesel, soot and particulate matters and whatnot. So would that make a difference?
Yes, we've been asked that question before, because doors open and windows open and everything else. Maybe falls about 5% overall, but it's closer to the 90% mark.
Okay, so is this why we would want to collaborate with the teachers to let them know this is why you don't want to be opening, closing your doors,
Absolutely,
be very
absolutely.
cautious, and, you know, when you tell children to go to the restroom or what have you? Okay.
Which is why that teacher training, when we're doing the installation, is vital. You know, so we're there, our techs are there, we have a project manager there, and we take them through the whole steps. And we've even had children from the classrooms write to us, to some of our techs. Wow, Mr. Bill, this was fantastic news. You know, we can't wait. We want to be in the HVAC system. So it's really kind of interesting to get these children so engaged. And what our next step is, let's get them in an environmental literacy mindset. How do they improve, even not just what happens in the school, but outside? You know, how do you improve the efficiencies of what goes on to improve our environment?
Yes, it's in the state standards to teach them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah.
And lastly, I know you mentioned that there are 6 schools that qualify, even though Mr. Fruto said 5. 6 sounds better. Now, how can we get like an estimation of how much it would cost the other, you know, schools to find out how much it costs? Because I know, Mr. Frutos, the last time you quoted, it said for all schools it was about $1 million.
It all depends on what the scope of work is. Their work includes things that we have not included in our quotes, and there are some things that we included that are not in their scope. They are including handling equipment, filtering for sound and for particulates. What we were doing was particularly applied to chromium, so there are a few differences in what we're discussing. But their prices are actually easy to find. They're able to quote whatever the board needs.
Okay, so to find the quote, how would you go about that?
So we would give you a quote analysis of exactly, when we're doing these assessments, we one by one, we take pictures, there's a plan. It's very, very specific on what the action plan is going to be done, what filters are going to be used, how many per square foot. So everything is designated by each school. Each school is very different.
Okay, so you wouldn't, like, if anyone were to call or to visit you, you wouldn't just go, oh, it's $1 million. You would basically.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
So you have a plan, and then.
Absolutely.
So you would go to the schools then?
Yes.
Every school.
Every school.
And for that, is there a cost?
No cost,
Oh,
no,
okay,
nothing,
okay.
nothing.
Just time.
No.
That's all we ask.
Okay, oh, that's great, because, you know, we all love, you know,
I
saving money, and
know.
if we could get things for free, the better.
Yeah, we're the foundation, and our president CEO, Gloria Dolphin Hamas, I mean, it's her passion. She started IQR Foundation like 2 years ago, and she is just adamant about just throwing more of us in educating community groups, environmental groups, and especially, you know, the disadvantaged areas that really aren't getting help.
Yes.
So, you know, it's been her mission, which is now, as we're going around to school districts and community group meetings, and I see what's going on, and I'm breathing that air, that the kids are out in the playground, and there's a foundry right next door, you know what's going on. So you bring that home, and I make sure that all that information is in that application.
No, and I know the filters make a world of difference, because I have a filter, and for, I don't know what I was thinking, but I turned it off for a couple weeks, and every day it was just runny nose, coughing, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, the filter. I took it out. I woke up and I told my husband, wow. I go, the filter, what was I thinking? I need to have it on so I could, you know, I can't wait. Hopefully we're all here like crossing our fingers that everything goes well. We could get these in place, start teaching our, young children about environmental issues, which is not just something that I'm stating, but it states in the Common Core state standards. I found that out. So it's interesting.
There's a whole literacy program behind it. And the more, as we get more engaged with the school, we want to work with you. Let's build a curriculum together. What do you think would work that we can educate these kids further? So we're open to all of that. But first, let's get the clean air in there.
Yes.
And there's an immediate money opportunity now, and I just don't want to see you guys miss it.
So what would we do?
Right.
What would we do to, let's get this started?
Tell us, ready?
We need to
Are you
get it
ready?
started.
Yeah.
The free money
Our
by
next
May
steps.
6th. We
Right,
really
and it's
need
just-
it. So we need to know what is the next steps.
It's just the authorization. So what we can do is reach out to you. You give us the dates that will work best. The contact person at the specific locations will set up with assessments with our team. You'll be notified by a project manager, and we get them done. So this way you know what day they're coming out, what's going to happen, who we need to meet, if we need to have a meeting with stakeholders, whatever you guys need, that's what we'll do.
On your timeline.
Exactly.
On your timeline.
And you say there's a deadline of May 6th. at
Correct.
4
That's a
p.m.
hard
So we
deadline.
need to find out what
Yes.
our next steps are quickly
Absolutely.
and get to us and let us know.
Just tell us what schools we can do those 6, like right now, because we know,
Right.
oh, I've studied that map. What is in that priority zone?
Absolutely.
Paramount, I mean, last year got missed. Let's get them in. Let's get a chance to bring some clean air. So we would start with the 5 or 6, whatever you tell us to do. We just need your advocacy authority to get started.
So Ruth, you'll get back to us and let us know what it is that we need to do?
Yes.
Yeah? Thank you.
So by when?
Yeah, because
when
we
can get it
need
done?
dates, because we don't want that May 6th to pass.
Right.
I know, because
it's
we don't have a
already
board
April.
meeting now until May, so
Yeah,
we would
so-
have to do something
absolutely.
quickly. Yeah.
I mean, we need to make a decision because, as Board Member Hanson said, our next meeting's not till
Yeah.
the end of, the study.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time. They gave
Right.
us a very short window, and we want our techs to get out here as quickly as possible. Right.
So,
Mr. Frutos, is there anything that you would need this evening in order to move forward on this participation in applying for the grant?
We would really appreciate if the board is willing to give the superintendent delegated authority to apply for the grant. Our interest, and as IQR is mentioning in both the Port of Long Beach, our timeline is very narrow. I asked the board why, and they said that's just the way they work, and they get plenty of applications. So we need to work very quickly to do the 3 components, the request for proposals, the worksheet of costs, and to make sure, I like the 6 better than the 5 too. So that we're gonna do
Absolutely.
tomorrow with the port, but they were kind enough in IQ to give us the 6. Today, when we talked to Long Beach, they said 5, so we're gonna press on 6.
Yes.
And we just need to make sure that if you provide the superintendent delegated authority, we can then complete the applications and submit within the timeline. And when we come back at the next board meeting, we bring you a full report of everything that has been done, because the timeline is really short considering what we need to do.
So I would make a motion that we request the superintendent, Dr. Perez, to move forward in and the necessities of getting this on board by the deadline, May 6th. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move, I'll second, whatever.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And so for the next board meeting, we would have an update of where we're at, and then the further board member, the board meeting, we would have even more to let us know which schools hopefully would. But thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate
Thank you
it.
for inviting us.
Thank you.
Joining us.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Board members, I'm going to continue with the presentation on the science textbook adoption process and then the LCAP Highlight Harmony Project. Yes, Kelly Morales will be presenting on the science textbook adoption process.
Good evening. Good evening, Board President Gomez, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Perez, Executive Cabinet, and guests. My name is Kelly Morales, and I'm here to share some information with you this evening about our middle school next generation science standards textbook adoption process. So during this presentation, I will provide you with information on the next generation science standards, also referred to as NGSS, which were adopted by the state of California. And I'll also give you information about the integrated science model, course model, which is one of two possible progressions for implementing the NGSS in California in our middle schools. And I will also review the process for evaluating and recommending new science textbooks and materials for implementation in our middle schools for the next school year in 2019-20. So just to provide a little bit of background, what are the next generation science standards? What are the NGSS? So the NGSS uphold that there are three distinct, equally important dimensions for science learning. And it's the integration of these three dimensions working together that address the understanding, the thinking about science, and the application, the doing of science. The first dimension are the science and engineering practices. These are behaviors for investigating and building. So these are the practices that describe what scientists do to investigate the natural world and what engineers do to design and build systems. What's different about our science standards with respect to this dimension is that our previous science standards focus just on science, and these standards focus on science and engineering. So by strengthening the engineering aspect, it allows students to see the relevance of science, technology, engineering in everyday life. So the second dimension are the disciplinary core ideas. This is essentially the content. These are the key concepts specific to the course content. These core ideas build on each other as students progress through their grade levels, and they're grouped into the following domains: physical science, life science, earth and space science, and engineering. And then the third dimension are the cross-cutting concepts. These are concepts that link various science domains. They're essentially themes or conceptual frameworks that help students make connections across the science disciplines. So an example would be patterns. So whether I'm studying life science or earth science or physical science, I can identify patterns. So it kind of serves as a lens for students to view and to make sense of their content. And so each dimension works with the other two to help students build a cohesive understanding of science over time. So why are the NGSS important? They address the science expectations of high-performing countries to ensure students can compete in the global economy. So decisions around the NGSS were built on the successes of high-performing nations. Essentially, this means that the standards are internationally benchmarked, so they're held at the same level of rigor as the highest performing countries in the world. And this ensures that our students will be able to compete in the global job market. They're also important because they prepare students to pursue careers in both science and engineering related fields in the 21st century. Currently, we are educating students for jobs that don't exist quite yet. So as a result, we want to be sure that American students have opportunities to pursue employment in these fields. And beyond just science, technology, and engineering, the NGSS also integrate the 21st century skills. They sometimes refer to them as soft skills, critical thinking, communication skills, creativity, and collaboration. So these are a part of the standards as well. So just to provide a little bit of background of what we've done in Paramount to prepare, kind of pave the road for our implementation of NGSS at the middle school level. So last school year in 2017-18, we provided professional development for all of our middle school science teachers. We also conducted monthly science lead teacher meetings. Science lead teachers essentially act as the liaison between the district and the schools. We also began conversations about the 2 course models that were available for NGSS implementation in California, integrated and discipline specific. And then last year, the California Science Test, the CAST, was field tested in grade 8. So this school year, we've continued to provide professional development for all of our middle school science teachers. We continue to have monthly science lead teacher meetings. We are preparing to move to an integrated model, and I'll provide more information about that. We are also, this is currently the time that our textbook adoption committee is reviewing state-approved materials that are NGSS aligned to the integrated model. And then the CAST this year is operational in 8th grade. So to provide some information about the 2 different course models available to California, the first one is discipline specific. So each grade level focuses in depth on a different science discipline. So in 6th grade, students learn about earth and space science. In 7th grade, they learn about life science, and in 8th grade, physical science. And the integrated is different in that it interweaves the science disciplines in a developmentally appropriate progression. So essentially, this means that students' learning is integrated across the disciplines within a single grade level course. So in grade 6, students are getting a little bit of earth and space science, a little bit of life science, and a little bit of physical science. Essentially, the 2 models are, they differ only in sequence. The expectation is that by the end of 8th grade, that all students will be expected to meet the middle school performance expectations. So last year, it was recommended and adopted by the board that Paramount Unified implement the integrated model starting next school year. So what are the benefits of the integrated course model? So the standards are based around unifying ideas and are bundled according to natural connections rather than being limited by disciplinary boundaries. Teachers can address real world phenomena, ask questions, and seek answers to questions as they connect across disciplines. So for example, when students learn about the solar system, which would be an example of earth and space science, students learn about the forces to understand the structure of the solar system, which is essentially physical science. So you can see the integration of earth and space and physical science. So the concepts aren't taught in isolation, but as they relate to each other in the real world. And another benefit to the integrated course model, a science expert panel convened by the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, consisting of a core group of science and engineering experts and educators, concluded that the integrated model is the most effective model for optimizing student learning of NGSS in the middle school grades. So just thinking about our next steps as a district. So this school year, early in the fall, because the plan is to move to an integrated model next school year, we wanted to ensure that we communicated the information to all stakeholders, that was the plan. So we communicated this information through the science lead teachers to all science teachers and principals. And currently, in spring of 2019, we're in the process of selecting and making a recommendation for a textbook program that's aligned to the integrated course model. So these are the members of our middle school science textbook adoption committee. We have representation from all of our middle schools, representing all grade levels. We also have representation from the Teachers Association of Paramount. And Maggie Flores, our science curriculum specialist, has been facilitating these meetings. So you can see we began our work early in the school year. Our first meeting was in October. We've had several meetings since then. Basically, these meetings have been strategically designed to build capacity for the committee members for understanding the big ideas behind the instructional shifts of the NGSS in order to help them make a more informed recommendation or selection and recommendation for textbook. So these are the 7 programs that they're currently reviewing. These programs align to the integrated course model, and they have a cohesive middle school, so a program for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. The committee members are using what they call the TIME rubric. It's the Toolkit for Instructional Materials Evaluation, and this is provided by the state of California. So we're using kind of a modification of those rubrics to help teachers make an informed recommendation. And so you can see tomorrow, April 9th, they'll continue their review of the materials and hopefully reach consensus to make a recommendation that will come to the board May 13th. Okay, so as we move from spring currently to thinking ahead, summer 2019, the plan is to provide professional development to all of our middle school teachers to help them transition from a discipline specific, which is what we currently have, to an integrated model. We'll also likely need to make some, provide some supplemental units in terms of the curriculum. For example, if I'm an exiting or an entering 7th grade student, it makes the assumption through the integrated model that I would have had integrated in 6th grade, which would mean I'd have a little bit of earth, a little bit of life, and a little bit of physical. But because we're transitioning from discipline specific, students are from 6th grade just have earth. And so that would mean we might need to provide some supplemental curriculum for them in order to help them transition. And that would just be for the next 2 years. And so we are confident that with a new textbook adoption that's both aligned to the NGSS standards and aligns to the integrated model, that we'll have a new vision for science instruction and science learning in Paramount, where students will be doing science, not just learning about it. Any questions?
Fantastic. Good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the LCAP highlight on Harmony Project.
Good evening, President Gomez, members of the school board, Dr. Perez, executive cabinet, and guests. Thank you. Tonight I am continuing along the year as we give little snippets of our LCAP highlights. So Harmony Project is one of the programs that is supported through the LCAP. So very excited to bring this to you tonight. So basically, Harmony Project provides students with high quality music instruction, and learning to play an instrument is more than just learning to play that instrument. Students learn persistence, they learn patience, they learn to focus, that perseverance. These are the same qualities that we want our students to learn and to grasp as they work through school, but also past school in college and career. Really important skills to help our students with. So what is Harmony Project? Harmony Project is an after-school music program. Students receive instruction 2 days per week. We open Harmony Project to 4th and 5th grade students. At each of our elementary schools, 1 or 2 instruments are offered for instruction, which makes it much easier for beginning band students, so they can focus on that particular instrument. Teachers can focus on the fingering and the reading of music for 1 or possibly 2 instruments. This year, and I'm going to talk about this more, we are combining all of the schools together for 1 Saturday a month to combine as a district-wide band. And this also supports the transition to middle school band. Many times in the past, our middle school teachers, they do amazing work with our beginning students, but we're able to help our students to have that foundation before they reach middle school. These are the instruments that we offer through Harmony. And as you can see, we have all of the schools represented and all of the band instruments represented. Okay? Everything from the trombone and trumpet to the clarinet, the flute, as well as the saxophone. Since Harmony Project is offered after school, it's a benefit because students don't miss instruction during the day. Back in the day when I was in elementary school, students were taken out of class in order to learn instruments at the elementary, which a lot of times then prevents some students from going. If you need intervention, if you're a language learner, if you're a student with special needs, it was less likely that you would be able to attend. And by providing it after school, we reduce that, that barrier. There is research to support that music instruction also supports academic achievement. Okay, and I also mentioned the skills that students gain as they learn an instrument. Okay. And just by the way, these are all our students, the pictures that you see, and I just love these trombones. Aren't they beautiful? So students not only learn how to read notes, but they learn to transfer that knowledge to creating music, not just sound, but music in an instrument. And if you've ever played an instrument, you would understand what I mean. When the first time you pick up that clarinet and it makes a terrible squeaking noise and your parents are shrieking thinking, what have I done to allow my child to do that? It's taking those notes, those little dots and those sticks, and turning it into music and being able to read it and transfer it. Okay? That is like learning a second language, actually. Not only are students learning individual skills, how do I take the notes and make it into music, but they're also learning how to work as a team and perform as a band and to follow that conductor or that teacher so that they're making a piece of music together, which is an amazing skill. This year, we will have our first PUSD district-wide elementary level band, and this was their first practice, and I must tell you that it was on a storming, rainy day. I went down there, and I was so impressed that our parents brought our students there for practice on a Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, getting through the puddles and everything, because they are dedicated to this. And so I was just there this last weekend, and we have a nice representation from each of our schools. So it's nice, and I'm excited about that. So a little history about Harmony. We just started last year with Harmony. Last year was our first year. We began in November. Last year, 117 students participated. Some of the Harmony classes did participate in our first Paramount Presents, which is a showcase of the arts. This year, we began in September. We have about 155 students enrolled, so we are increasing. As I mentioned, we have Saturday lessons and practices, and we do use PHS West Campus. And we will have our first district K-5 band concert this spring. Okay.
Do we have a date yet, or no?
We did have a date, and then I just heard from Karen Sullivan that it may have changed due to a conflict with Harmony because they work with other cities. So as soon as we have that date, I will be sure that everyone gets an invitation.
Thank you.
So what are our next steps? Well, we do want to follow the research, and I'm working with our research department to see, how are our students doing in math and reading? I am in the process of meeting with representatives from Harmony Project to talk about planning for next year. As you saw, we were growing. We want to continue to grow, but also keep the integrity of the program. And this year, we would like to include it in our LCAP to support Harmony Project. Okay. And that is it. Questions?
I'd also like to add that when we started Harmony, we thought of it as a project for GATE students because of the level of difficulty in learning at such an early age how to read music. But then we decided to expand it to all elementary school students, and we really thought we might just get 3 elementary schools that wanted to participate, and every single elementary school joined in with students that wanted to participate. So
And
says a
not-
lot about our parents and their willingness to sacrifice and bring their children to these classes after school.
And not only that, but we kind of overwhelmed Harmony. They've worked in
Yes.
other districts for quite a while. And we were the first to fill every single class at every single school and have a waiting list. And so, and that has continued this year. So it's very exciting. And like I said, I'm continuously working with the staff from Harmony. How can we continue to grow without overwhelming the system? We don't want to grow too fast. We want to be able to support our students as well as the instruction. So that was really exciting as well.
That's great.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, so board members, as you know, the last, if you read your minutes, the last board meeting we had, there were several requests from the board for me to follow up on. One of them was the date for the indoor air quality survey results with the Department of Health. And as per your Wednesday report, I just renamed it, I'm trying to call it Wednesday report. The 25th of, which is a Thursday at 5 p.m. at Jackson School, we will be there with the Department of Health to share any, answer any questions for parents about the results. This is going back to the September 2018 testing. We are inviting everyone from Gaines and Lincoln. Those were the two schools that were tested for indoor air quality. But we're doing it at Jackson, which is right next door to Gaines, because we need more space, since we're inviting parents as well as teachers. And anyone else from other schools as well. We will advertise that meeting is open to the public. So that is Thursday, April the 25th at 5 p.m. at Jackson School. And then also, board members, you wanted to know about the Zamboni Middle School new construction project meeting. And that meeting is also on your Wednesday report. I just want to highlight it this evening. It will be on Thursday, April the 11th at 5:30 p.m. at Zamboni Middle School. Thursday, April 11th, 5:30 p.m. at Zamboni Middle School. Additionally, there are two topics that the board has been talking about for the future. They're not the same topic. They're two separate topics. One is term limits and the other one is trustee areas. And as you know, the last meeting we had in closed session, one of the attorneys presented on what trustee areas is. We booked him that night to come and present to us this evening. And he didn't have copies, if you remember, of the presentation. So I followed up with him and asked him if he could send us the presentation, which you have in your possession, for this evening. But somehow there was a miscommunication and he is not here this evening. I think he expected another call to confirm this evening. I thought we were set since we booked him that evening, and then I asked him for the presentation. But he is willing to come to the next meeting to present on trustee areas. The other topic the board wanted information on is on term limits and a survey, a public survey of the community on term limits and the willingness to expend the cost of what it would be to put term limits on the 2020 ballot. So the direction I received was to research survey companies that would provide this and give the board a report. I provided you on Wednesday with two proposals, which you have. One is from FM3 Research, and they did submit a proposal with the amount, as well as the other company, which is Probalski. Yes. So I would like the board to, I wanted to give it to you last Wednesday so you would have time to look at the proposal and the cost, and would like to ask the board for direction on whether or not to proceed to secure them, one obviously, in order to conduct that survey. So I'll turn it over to you, Madam President.
Sure. Board members, do you have that in front of you, both of the reports?
I have extra copies.
Just in case. Yeah. I have extra copies if you don't. So we're looking at two different proposals. So one of the proposals is FMC research, which the cost would be to do a survey for 15 minutes, approximately a sample of 400 Paramount US registered voters likely to participate in November 2020. Would cost approximately $33,000. A 20-minute survey length would be from also FM3 research would be $36,250. Now, if we go to the other research, which is Probloski, they give an estimate of, for the multi-mode voter survey pricing option, for approximately 12 questions, 6 minutes each, for up to 300 respondents, it's $9,850. For approximately 25 questions for 12 minutes for the same amount of respondents, it's $18,750. And approximately 35 questions for 18 minutes with the 300 up to 300 respondents also, that would cost $24,100. They also give an option of an in-person or online focus groups. That's an option for approximately 12 for in-person, 20 online for $12,700. So tonight I would like to make a decision of which one we should go forward to, because I know that the community is eager to have term limits. And as last board meeting, we did not come to a consensus because we wanted the community to make that decision. And as I mentioned, I did walk on my campaign, and I know that at least 80% do want term limits. But just to verify that I'm not the only person saying this, and it is the community, we would like to have these surveys done. So I guess we just take a motion of which one we prefer. I'm assuming you all had chance to read the differences between the two. So let's make a motion. Let's take a motion to see which one of these makes more sense. So I'm gonna first take the motion on the FM3 research, which were the 15-minute or the 20-minute, 33,000 or the 36,250. All those in favor of a 3M research doing the research for us? All in favor? Yeah, I guess not. So then we'll go to the cost for the proposals for the multi-mode. So we have three suggestions: a 6-minute, a 12-minute, and 18-minute. So the languages will be English and Spanish. The level of confidence is 95%. The mode will be telephone. It would be landline or mobile phone, and online via email. So I will take a motion for all three to see how many. I'm assuming, of course, because of cost, but let's just go with all those in favor for the 6-minute for the 9,850.
I had a question first.
Sure.
The questions that will be used, we'll see them ahead of time.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Good question. Thank you.
Absolutely. And will the community or the residents get those questions too, or just the board members? Will it be publicly known the kind of questions they're going to be asked? Or is that randomly, that when they call, they ask the questions?
Yeah, randomly.
call, they ask the
Whoever's called,
questions,
yeah.
yes.
No, I just wanted to make sure that
The board
staff
would
and
see the
board would see the
questions,
questions
yes.
ahead of time.
Perfect. Okay. Any other questions before we let's see which one's better? Okay. So 12 questions at 6 minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think I also.
6.
Aye.
6 minutes will be 4-0.
If I may suggest
Sure, go ahead.
something for a moment, you know, we could also have a contract not to exceed the highest amount, which is $24,100.
Okay.
We can do that.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna make a motion. We're gonna scratch that first motion that we had, even though it's a 4-0.
Just go with the company.
Yes. We're gonna go with the company. Our motion would be going with the company of Probloski Research, and to not exceed the $24,100. All in favor?
Yeah, I'll move that, and then somebody can second it.
Okay, so
Okay.
Vivian Hansen's gonna move it. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. So then what would be the next step from here so we
We
can
will
know a
move forward
timeline?
with a contract and not to exceed $24,100.
Okay. But then,
We'll look at their questions. They
Okay.
will submit them to us, and we'll submit them to the board. Anything else, Mr. Frutos?
No, the board gave us direction. We will ask them immediately to make sure that the questions are sent in advance, or at least a sampling. Sometimes they'll do a sampling for the board to see, and then you can review it.
so now this is just if the sampling is to go forward, the board then makes the decision of what they want for term lengths, either a 4-year or a 3-year. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
And that'll be part of the questioning, my understanding was when I was reading through this. Yeah,
correct.
so that we'll be able to look at the questions and see
And you provide the structure, and they'll do the
structure,
testing
yeah,
based on your
okay.
structure.
That's all, thanks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So then the trustees areas will come next time, and on our
Yes.
next board meeting, which is not the study session, it's the regular board meeting, correct? Okay, just want to make sure. All righty. So now we'll go, anything else, Superintendent?
No, ma'am, I turn it over to you.
Okay, so now we're going to the board meeting calendar. Any additions to or changes in the regular meeting and/or special meeting calendar will be discussed. I don't see any changes or anything we need to do. So, okay, we don't need to do a motion on that. Now we're going to the hearing section. Persons wishing to address the board should fill out a blue card located at the table by the door and submit the completed card to the secretary. Speakers will be called in sequence during the hearing section, which is limited to 1 hour, and each speaker to one presentation of 3 minutes unless the board wishes to waive the time limit. The board cannot engage in public discussion during this portion of the agenda. Government Code Section 54950 and 54963. Staff will follow up and address public inquiries. Those who have a group concern are encouraged to select a spokesperson to address the board. Persons wishing to address the board on a specific agenda item at the time of the item is under discussion are limited to 3 minutes each and will be called to speak following the staff comments and prior to the board's discussion of taking action. So we have the first one will be Lisa Lappin. She wants to speak on air quality concerns.
Good evening, President Gomez, Vice President Parenta, board members, and staff. I'm not just speaking about air quality concerns, but about retaliation. So I appreciate Board President Carmen Gomez's promise to teachers that no retaliation will occur to teachers for speaking up regarding safety concerns at schools. But I would like to request that the same promise be made to teachers and principals for calling AQMD to report odors at their schools from nearby companies. Indeed, according to a March 2009 PUSD hazard reporting system from your own website, which specifically states, quote, "It is the responsibility of all employees to report unsafe work conditions and practices to the superintendent, assistant superintendents, directors, supervisors, principals, assistant principals, risk management, and other department heads following the appropriate chain of command. It is the policy of Paramount Unified School District to prohibit employee reprisal for reporting unsafe and unhealthy work conditions. Management personnel who are found in violation of this policy may be subject to disciplinary action. Employees who have knowledge of an unsafe, unhealthy work condition or practice and who intentionally conceal this information will be in violation of district policy and may be subject to disciplinary action." So in 2014, I'll read from an article from the LA Times, "Paramount Residents Not Alone in Pollution Fight," which quotes me as having said, pungent metallic odors sometimes blanketed the school, so Lappin started asking questions. She complained to county and environmental regulators, circulated petitions, and sought help from environmental groups. And then it says, in 2012, Lappin turned to the Air Quality Management District, which is said to have received 64 complaints about Carlton Forge over the last 2 years, 3/4 of them from Lappin, me. This means that I called AQMD approximately 48 out of the 64 calls that were made that year. And those were the calls that AQMD continues to say the community called, but it was mainly myself. And so the reason why, President Gomez, may I request one additional minute, please?
Actually, we have 2 others. Go ahead, 1 more minute, and that's all I
That's
can
it, yeah,
do.
that's all I need. So, when I called, I was told by AQMD, it would mean so much more if a principal would call than just you, a teacher. And I said, sir, no principal will ever call because they are afraid to call. They are afraid of losing their job. They do not have a union to protect them, and they will never call. And I would bet that no principal has ever called AQMD to report odors at any of the schools or any people from the district. I'm not certain, but that is my bet. And I think that it's time that the principals start stepping up and calling and not leaving it to the teachers who are afraid of retaliation. I'm no longer with the district, but I know there are teachers at Lincoln, there are teachers at Gaines, there are teachers at other schools who are afraid of retaliation. And I think that this climate of repression needs to stop, and everyone needs to be able to speak up
you, Lisa.
freely.
Your minutes.
That's all that I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sarah Patricia Hueso, school filters.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Patricia Hueso. I am a parent of Lincoln students. I'm also part of C, Social Eco Education. And it's been 2 long years where I've been attending these meetings along with a couple of other parents requesting air filters for the district. And we felt that some of the staff here have been not as concerned as we are. They talk about the money, how it's going to cost $1 million. They talked about and sent letters telling the community that the air quality was okay, that it was of no concern. And now, you know, there's been lawsuits to parent companies from Carlton Forge and others that show that, in fact, there is chromium-6 in the air. I am happy to hear that the new board members are making this a priority, and thank goodness for that, because it's been 2 long years coming to these meetings, advocating for teachers, advocating for our children. They need to be able to breathe clean air inside the classrooms. So please do everything in your power that you can to get as many filters as you can to these schools. Mr. Frutos, I'm speaking to you as well, since you're the one that handles a lot of the budgets. I am looking at results from Monday, March 4th, 2019, on Monitor 2, which is closest to Lincoln, which is not that far from where we are right now. And it shows that the measurements were 1.47 ppm. That is very high. And for children to be breathing that is not okay. We need to do whatever we can. These IQ Air is telling you guys, this is not coming out of your budget. Let's try to do this and try to move it as soon as possible, because our children deserve clean air. They deserve to be in an environment where they're safe, where they're breathing clean air, and the teachers and the staffs. We've been fighting for this for over 2 years now. So please do as much as you can to get this. There's other issues that I wanted to talk about, but right now the priority are the filters. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, we'll have Anne Marie Tran, high school safety, math curriculum, library
One quick note,
supervision.
everyone. We have a brand new system. It's super sensitive, so you don't have to speak into the mic, just talk at a normal level, and you'll be heard clearly, so thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anne Marie Tran, Vice President of Teachers Association of Paramount. I'm here to talk to you about some issues and concerns we have throughout the district. Number one, our vision statement for the district states that we are an exemplary district, but our practices don't line up with what we claim to be. Some of the issues that I'm concerned about are the turnover rates for our administration and our teachers. When I entered the district here almost 20 years ago, I entered knowing that I would stay here for the lifetime of my career, and I was confident with that statement. What I hear today in our teachers, in our incoming teachers, especially in our teachers who are coming in for the first 5 years, are, I'm just here for the temporary run. I'm looking for something else. And it seems like our district has become a stepping stone for a lot of our administration and for our teachers. And our kids and our students and our community deserve better than that. They need consistency, they need predictability, right? And that provides for them a safe environment to learn, right? Some of the things that constitute or that lead up to that are safety in terms of health, and we've heard that numerous times today already. In terms of physical safety, what we call a food riot, others have deemed or what we call the food fight, others have deemed a riot that constituted law enforcement presence in our schools. The tenure track program for our teachers, in which teachers who have been here 5 or 6 years dedicated to their craft and dedicated to advising sports and clubs and organizations are still on a temporary track. We have teachers in the classroom, we have long-term subs in the classroom who are substitutes for, there are no teachers on record for those classes. So quality education and quality teaching, it doesn't line up with what our mission statement states. And we are getting further and further away from those mission statements. Teacher morale is at its lowest since I've been here in the last 20 years. I've asked teachers to come to our meetings. President Gomez, last week you were here at the West Campus, and many of the teachers I asked to come to make a statement to you have said, I'm tired. Not that they don't care, but they're just tired. Right? Quality education, we have a program called Ingenuity. That's a computerized program. It doesn't line up with quality education. It doesn't line up with a quality teacher that teaches them, that instructs them. Extended day and summer programs. How is it that I am qualified to teach an extended day geometry class, but during the school year, I'm not qualified to teach that class? That doesn't make any sense to me. And the last statement I wanted to make within the next 30 seconds, Dr. Ruth, I met with you earlier in the year stating our math program and the promotion of our math students. Dr. Smith, I sent you an email regarding the issues that we've had with our math promotion. I'm teaching a math class right now. Half my students are staring into space because they don't know their algebra, but now they're taking a geometry class. The program is not working, and we're not doing anything to support those students. President Gomez, may I have another minute, please?
1 minute.
Thank you. And I've sent emails on how to help and support those students. Dr. Smith, you finally came to our campus after numerous requests to meet with the math department. And you came in, and excuse me for the phrase, but guns a-blazing. We asked you about curriculum, and you came in with the discipline team. And you pointed your finger at our teachers, and you said, what are you doing to help our students? Instead of, what can the district do to help teachers to support our students in their success? That shows a huge disconnect between what you know about what teachers are dedicated to doing in their classrooms versus what the district knows what is happening at our school sites. That's my time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
President Gomez, may I speak?
Yes, you may.
As an educator, I would like to thank Mrs. Tran for coming in and really feeling comfortable enough to speak up. So thank you.
Sure. Okay. So we have one more speaker, Franklin Orantes. He wants to speak about the children.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for hearing me out today. I'm a proud parent of 2 kids that go to Lincoln, and their friends, which I've seen grow up as well. I've seen my kids learn, and they love school, and they're achieving, and their friends are achieving as well. The programs, the Harmony Project, my son's in it, and he loves it. My daughter, she's doing really well with the reading and everything else. Everything's pretty much positive, you know, about the school and all that. But it does concern me that they're here 24/7 because they live in the city of Paramount. We hardly live, you know, go out of the city of Paramount. And we pretty much spend our time here. And for them to be exposed to high levels of pollutants is a concern to me. I don't know about you guys. I mean, hopefully you don't see them just as a monetary asset for your schools, for your whatever you want to pass here. You know, it's not a business. Schools are not a business. They're set up for your children, for your future. I don't know where you're gonna end up later in life, and these kids are the ones that are gonna inherit what you leave behind, or how you do things here. So it's very important, and as a parent, I am and I will do whatever I can to see my kids succeed in life. I've been trying to give them the tools that they need to survive out in the real world. Again, the real world is ours. It's what we're leaving behind. So think about that, and thank you for hearing me out, and have a nice evening.
Thank you, Franklin. Okay, Dr. Perez needs to update.
Yes, the indoor air quality survey results meeting with the Department of Health, I mentioned that it's Thursday, April 25th at 5 o'clock at Jackson. Mr. Frutos shared with me there was a change today to 7 p.m. In order for more parents to be able to come. So that meeting will be at 7 p.m. Thursday, April the 25th, 5 p.m. at Jackson School.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Thank you. 7.
Please make a note.
Yes.
You'll send us a reminder, correct? Thanks.
Appreciate it. Will that be on the website so people can see where the meeting's at, or what? Thank you. Okay. People start looking at that website more often. Very good. Okay, so now we're going to go to the consent items. These items are considered routine and may be enacted by a single motion. Any items needing discussion may be moved to the appropriate section of the agenda upon the request of any member. At this time, we will approve the consent unless we have any discussions or someone would like to ask questions regarding any item on the consent item.
I would like to discuss some items.
Sure.
Let's take a motion first, a motion and a
sorry.
second, and then we can open it to discussion.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the consent items?
I'll move.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, let's have the
Oh, that's
discussion
right.
first. Yeah, discussion first.
That was
and then
just to
we
open
can-
it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Board Member De Leon, what item?
I'm looking at consent item 3.1-C on page 34. And also on page 44, consent item number 3.3-C.
Okay.
Where it says number 4, consulting.
Which
page 35.
Page 35?
Page 35.
Okay.
As an educator, and as I just heard another educator state, as educators, we already know how to teach. That's a given. When there is, there's new textbooks or what have you with the new Common Core, perhaps we did need some kind of training. But also hearing what my constituents have said, what other teachers are telling me, and as an advocate for teachers and parents and students, especially students with special needs, nonetheless, I look at this and I'm concerned and wondering, there's $27,500 being spent on professional development for math. By no means I'm against it, but I just want to then think of and heavily encourage parent participation, family participation, community to participate in the LCAP, because these funds are coming from the LCAP. And when we have students who I'm being told cannot read, and we know when a student cannot read after the 3rd grade level, the chances of those children going to prison is extremely high. We know that reading is the fundamental need that all our students need. We know that the students are graduating really not knowing how to read, but we're passing them anyways. So I'm just concerned and just want to again reiterate the importance of community involvement, to please attend the LCAP meetings, because money is being spent that way. If there's more participation, then perhaps the fundings could be allocated where they are needed. And I also wanted to remind or just get more information on where the money's coming from. I know the LCAP has 3 tiers, one coming from the bottom, which is the base allocations, and then you have the 2 upper tiers, which are the supplemental grant funds, concentration grant funds, which are regulated by the development of the LCAP. And as stated, it says when the local control accountability plan, or the LCAP, is the plan on how districts are held accountable for using local controlled funding formula, or the LCFF, and supporting targeted students or youth, which is the following. I know as of February 1st, 2019, there was an amendment to the LCAP, and that included more students. Before it was just foster youth, socially economic disadvantaged students, and if I'm not mistaken, English language learners. Now we have ethnics, now we have pupils with disabilities and homeless youth. So we have a larger number being represented, and so we also need to include these parents who have students with disabilities to be part of the LCAP committee, to then they decide if all these funds are being appropriately distributed, and we as a board do what's right with what the community is asking, not what the staff really wants. I also have a question or comment on page 44, which is consent item 3.3.c or -c. And I know it's important for professional development. As a teacher, I know this, but also as a board member, I have to look through that lens, and I have to see, okay, am I making an informed decision, not based on what staff needs, but what our students need. And again, students need to learn how to read. That's just the bottom line. We are spending approximately $11,000 from LCAP funds to send, I believe it's 3 teachers, excuse me. Either it's going to be the principal or the academic dean to go. So that's a very large expense when we are looking at money that could possibly be funded to educate our high school students that do not know math, do not know algebra, do not know geometry. So again, I reiterate the importance of my community, the people in our community, to attend the LCAP meetings. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a question on 3.4C, page 46. I noticed that the trip is in the next fiscal year. I don't understand why if we haven't had the budget yet, why are we approving something in the next fiscal year when we don't have the budget?
Mr. Frutos? Yeah, I had the same question. Yeah.
So for a lot of activities throughout the year, we develop budgets in advance, and the district meets with the principals. As a matter of fact, right now we're concluding our meetings with principals for the development of the subsequent year budget, except for certain categories like Title I, because some categorical programs operate on a September-October cycle as opposed to July-June cycle. So most of the principals already have an idea of the budgets for the subsequent year. Within those budgets, which in many cases are a very similar budget to the prior year, especially if they have staff, they are aware of some of the programs that they need, and they can start scheduling events for July 1. As a matter of fact, after one of our discussions, I wanted to give you an example that actually our school begins to buy things for after July 1 in May and June. The county opens the budgets because many times you have to plan in advance to go to events, or you have what is called a lead time when you procure equipment or services. So these are done by our different managers. For example, an event like this could have been organized by a principal or by a director after they know that they have a budget. For example, in some activities, if you don't book in advance, you might not have the opportunity to participate. So we give the schools the budgets way in advance so that they can begin to plan, and in some cases, they procure for the subsequent year. The budget that they include the expense is the subsequent year's budget. So there is no opportunity for them to be in the negative, charging against the present year. So it's the best example that I can give you. It is common, especially when we are buying near the end of the year. The other piece is, in order for something to be current, it has to be received by June 30. So if somebody's planning for something to be received or done after July 1, by law, it has to go in the subsequent year budget.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. With that said, we have a motion by Vivian Hansen, a second by Gisenia Cuarenta. All those in favor to approve the consent items?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, we approve the consent items. Now we will be going to the action items. These items are presented for action at this time. Some may have been reviewed by the board at a previous meeting under the conference items section of the agenda. So we're going to go to General Services 1.1A, Resolution 18-27, California Day of the Teacher. Staff recommendation, adopt Resolution 18-27, recognizing the district's teacher for their commitment, dedication, professionalism, and contribution to the educational success of students. That's on page 63. May I have a motion? And then the discussion. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Gisenia Cuarenta, second. Any discussion?
I would like to make a motion to amend the resolution.
What is your amendment?
I don't have the precise language that I would like this resolution to say, but as an educator, we know that there are teachers who ask questions, which is ironic because as teachers, we teach our children or our students to ask questions, because if you don't question, then you don't learn. Yet, if a teacher does ask a question, depending if they're not in that clique or narrative of teachers, they will be retaliated. So I would like to amend this resolution to somehow include that when teachers ask questions, that there are no retaliation, teachers should feel safe to ask a question.
I don't see a reason for adding something like that. This is just honoring teachers on May 8th, to thank them for the job that they do. I don't see a reason to amend it anyway.
Could we put another, as Board Member De Leon says, another, whereas if a teacher speaks up, they won't be retaliated during the year? Because this is a day of the teacher for the year, and this is giving them all the, great things they've done. But I believe a teacher probably, the reason why De Leon's probably saying that is because she's heard among the community so much retaliation that if they saw this, they would probably feel more comfortable and say, wow, they really looked at this. They really, admire us for having this.
And worst scenario, we could always come up with the resolution. I have no problem coming up with the resolution for teachers.
I say if we can just add an extra, whereas teachers will not be retaliated for speaking up.
I see no reason for that. I can't support it. Yes, Cynthia?
I would like to say that I want to focus on the positive, and I do agree with what my colleagues are saying, but it's very important that we, it's a day of the teacher, and, you want to, it's something good, right? So focus on the positive.
I agree with that. This is a positive resolution.
I understand it is a positive resolution, but I also think that if the teachers were to have this within their positive resolution, they would even feel more empowered, saying, this is a great day. We are recognizing them, we appreciate them, but we even appreciate them speaking up within their core teachers, within the community, without being retaliated. I've heard that over and over again, and I believe that if it's added into this wonderful day, they would feel extra special.
Kim left the room. I'd like to hear what Kim had to say, or any teacher.
Is there any teacher that wants to speak up on this?
Anyone? We won't retaliate, by the way. You would. Yes, you would.
Yes, I would.
Is there any other teachers also?
I'm not a teacher, but I think if you changed it to, teachers are free to speak their mind without having to fear retaliation. They're not being retaliated against intentionally. So if you put they're free to speak their mind without the fear of retaliation, that's a positive thing for anybody at any time.
Yes, it also encourages them to speak up, because I'm a firm believer that if we don't speak up, then we will never fix what is not going correct. We want to make this school or this district a A+, not a C-.
Now we're a C-. Interesting. Interesting.
Any other teachers that want to speak up?
Teachers aren't here because they're afraid of
Of course.
Maybe I can bring some perspective, respectfully to try to, well, here's Kim, our
Here's
teachers.
Kim, we would like your opinion, please. We need you, please. We are looking at the resolution 18-27, California Day of the Teachers. And Board Member De Leon wanted to make a motion to amend it. And De Leon, can you tell her why? And then I will second, give her my opinion.
This resolution is lovely in the fact that finally in 2019, teachers are being recognized. Which there's already a day, we know that, because I have to buy now 6 presents for my daughter's teachers, which is wonderful. My question or my, that something that I wanted to amend is that adding the fact that teachers would be allowed to ask questions, or as Councilwoman Guillen stated, be free to speak their minds without the fear of retaliation.
Okay, well, first, we get this every year. In the 20 years I've been here, I've gotten this every day of the teacher. We get it every single year. To me, it just seems like it's just recognizing us for our work. It's not letting us know our rights. Because that's in the contract that I represent our members with, and that's in our conversations that we have. This was just to honor the teachers with their daily attendance and what they do with kids every single day. I don't think it means that we need to tell us our rights that we should have on top of that.
May I pose a question to my fellow colleagues? How is this helping student outcomes, right? I think, this conversation we're having now is really just sidestepping what we're here for, which is to ensure that our students are receiving, right, that they're prepared. And
this is a classroom teacher, so this is what we do every day in our classrooms for our kids.
What I was also thinking about is if we had it here, I know it's not their job, but if we would have it there as a positive, saying that they have I don't want to say the right, but whereas a teacher, without being retaliated, we want to put it in a positive way, saying that they may, speak up or give their opinion or without being retaliated, because that's all I hear within this district is pure retaliation. And so,
Yeah, I'm not hearing that, but I understand what you must be hearing. But on the fourth whereas, if you read it, it kind of does say how we appreciate the efforts. As I say the district appreciates the efforts of the teachers cooperating, striving to obtain the district objectives of higher increase in student achievement and what we do in the classroom. So it's kind of implying, if you can dig into it, that we are working together to come up with the objectives and what we do in our classroom.
I'd like to call for the vote.
all those in favor of leaving the California of Teacher Resolution 18.27 as is?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to break the tie. Aye. Sonia, no vote?
No, well, we didn't vote on the amendment. You would have to vote for the amendment. If we were going to amend the resolution, then we would go back to the motion.
Okay, so I think we're making a motion to not amend the resolution. That's what I'm thinking of.
Accept them,
Accept the motion as is. I believe that, I guess as a board, for the board members that would like the retaliation be put on there, I think the next thing would be when we do, I guess, the negotiations or where the, Kim, help me out, you said that we can look at that where else besides this? The contract, when we do the contracts, we can look at that and make sure that it is on the contracts, so that we will definitely make sure that we see that in there. Okay, so we're going to make a resolution that we're gonna leave the resolution as is, the way it's we represented, without no amendment. May I have a vote?
Aye.
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 No.
Okay, so it's 3 yes, 1 no. Sonia De Leon said no. Sure.
Board member, Madam President, I would like to offer something to make everyone hopefully feel good about this, especially our teachers. I appreciate our TAP president sharing that she hasn't heard of a complaint about teachers being retaliated against. That's not to say that somebody out there is feeling that way or not feeling that way. But I do want to share that with regard to, and I sent out an email about 2 years ago for this, and I will send it out tomorrow again, and I'll copy the board on it, of course, for teachers about calling on odors. You know, if they smell the odors, I'd be more than happy to send that out as a directive as the superintendent, because you know, I equate it to, for example, and please look at the rationale here, that let's say the teachers at Lincoln, you know, run across the street and buy lunch from Doubles, and we love Doubles. But every time they buy lunch from Doubles, you know, something doesn't taste good. The menu is poor. So they start calling the manager there and complaining, you know, my hamburger again was not well cooked, you know, and we have a whole bunch of teachers calling Doubles and saying, you know, this is not good, this is not good. And they continue to call because Doubles is the closest restaurant across the street from Lincoln. So they keep calling and keep calling. You know, the principal, Ms. Topeka Jones, is not going to retaliate against her teachers for doing that, obviously, because we're not responsible for the menu or the cooking at Doubles. And the same rationale with the air. You know, it's unfortunate, you know, about chromium-6 in the air and what this community has gone through. Our mission as a school district is teaching and learning. And we are, it's not our fault that there is chromium-6. As an educational agency, it's sad, but it's not our fault that there is chromium-6 in the air. So since it's not our fault, if a teacher wants to call to complain about odors in the air or something similar to that, and we gave them the number, all the teachers in the district, who to call, they're not, Ms. Topeka Jones, neither the superintendent will retaliate against the teachers for that, because it's something that we had no control over as an educational agency. So I will send out again an email that I sent out 2 years ago, encouraging, which is what I did, teachers to call 1-800-CUT-SMOG if they smell something in the air, because nobody's going to retaliate against them. It's not something that we created. So therefore, you know, there would not be retaliation about that particular issue. But since it's a critical issue for our community, I'm going to send that email out again for all teachers to read. Okay? Yes. Principals, yes, of course. Yes. Everybody, all users. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Perez.
Yes.
So 1.1A passed, 3 with 1 no, and 1 no. Okay, so we're going to 1.2A, Resolution 18-28, Classified Employees. Staff recommended adopt Resolution 18-28, recognizing classified employees of Paramount Unified School District for their contribution, dedication, and support of the education success for students. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia 40 second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
4-0 passed. 1.28 passed. Now we're going to Human Resources. 2.1A, agreement with Patricia D. Barrett, DBA, Law Office of Patricia D. Barrett. Staff recommendation, approve the agreement with Patricia D. Barrett, DBA, Law Office of Patricia D. Barrett, to conduct a hearing, provide findings and recommendation to the school board. That's on page 67. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia 40 second. Do we have a discussion? Guess not. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, motion passed. 2.1A. For the Educational Services, 3.1A, Achievement via Independent Determination Agreement for 2019-2020. Staff recommendation, approve the AVID agreement for Alondra, Buena Vista, Collins, Gaines, Holidale, Jackson, Jefferson, Kepo, Lincoln, Los Cerritos, Moakler, Paramount Park, Roosevelt, Tanner, Wirtz, Zamboni, Paramount High School West Campus, and Paramount High School to support college readiness. That's on page 74. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia 40 second. All those in favor? Or, no, any discussion? Sorry. Any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, motion passed. 3.2A, non-public school placement for special education students for 2018-2019. Staff recommendation, approve the placement for special education students in non-public schools as determined by the student's independent education plan for 2018-2019 year, page 75. May I have a motion?
I guess I'll move.
Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Any Yesenia 40 second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Sonia, did I hear you say?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Motion passed 4-0, 3.2A. Now we're going to 3.3A, workability I-grant funds, page 77. Staff recommendation, accept continued funding of the workability I-grant for 2018-2019 school year to provide supervision for special education students, on-the-job training, subsidized wages for high school students, and transition students, and career awareness activities for middle school students. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia 40 second. Any discussion?
It's a great program.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. 3.3A passed. Motion passed. And we'll go to. Okay, we're going to 3.4, workability I-grant application for 2019-2020 school year. Staff recommendation, approve the application for the workability I-grant for 2019-2020 school year to provide services for special education students that include job training and subsidized wages for high school and transition students and career awareness, page 78. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Vivian Hansen did the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 3.4A. Now we're going to 3.5A, page 80. Staff recommendation, approve the big picture learning sustainability contract with Odyssey STEM Academy for the 2019-2020 and 2020-2021 school years. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hansen made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia 40 second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, 3.58 passed. Motion passed. 3.6A, read 180 Universal California contract on page 87. Staff recommendation, approve the read 180 Universal California contract to provide support for English learners and students with disability at both Paramount High School and Paramount High School West Campus, and to authorize the purchase of read 180 Universal textbooks and licenses for the 2019-2020 school year. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
Go
ahead.
No, you can go, Mrs. Hansen.
I'll second.
Vivian Hansen, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sonia, did I hear you? Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Like I thought-
4-0, motion passed. 3.6A. Now we're going to 3.7A, Sprint 1 million project agreement. Staff recommendation, approve the Sprint 1 million project agreement to provide free internet service access for qualified high school students for the 2019-2020 school year on page 99.
I'll move.
Vivian Hansen, who made the second, sorry?
I'll second.
Okay, Vivian Hansen motion, Sonia De Leon second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0, 3.7A. We're going to 3.8A, page 114. Staff recommendation, approve the school Mint online registration agreement. The contract will be in effect July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020 for Hollandale, all middle schools and high schools in Paramount High Unified School District. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Yesenia Cuarenta made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Vivian Hanson, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 4-0, motion passed, 3.8A. Now we're going to 3.9A, page 137. Staff recommendation, approve the Workforce Investment Act Title II, Adult Education and Family Literacy Act Grant Award for 2018-2019 fiscal year. Fiscal year. May I have a motion?
I'll move. I love it when we get money.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta, second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
4-0, motion passed, 3.9A. Now we're going to 3.10A, page 138, staff recommendation, approve the renaming of the Career and Technical Education course, AP Computer Science Principles. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Yesenia Cuarenta did the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Vivian Hanson made the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed, 3.10A. Now we're going to 3.11A, page 140. Staff recommendation, approve the memorandum of understanding with Cerritos College to provide a college site bridging college liaison with Buena Vista High School and Paramount High School for the 2019-2020 school year. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta, second. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question. What is it that we call the career centers? Is it the Career and Technical Education? Is it the CTE? Is that what we call the career centers at the high schools?
Dr. Smith, I'm sorry.
We call them our college and career centers.
This college and career.
Correct.
And the people that run the college and career centers, what's their job description?
Well, allow me to please to speak generally to that. I wouldn't be able to recite the exact job description, but generally speaking, these are certificated counselors that their primary mission is to support our students as they prepare for both college and career. So that means a couple of things. They provide additional advising to students. They facilitate college and career presentations from the various institutions that come to work with our students and offer their programs to our students. They do grade level presentations, and in general, they support the work of each of the actual academic counselors that we have at our high schools. So they provide an invaluable function. And so as you see in our district, things like the amount of financial aid increasing, the percentage of students accept the four-year colleges and universities increasing, our graduation rates increasing, our A through G requirement rates increasing. The supplemental help of those college and career counselors is really vital. And that investment that this district has made in them has really paid off well.
So the 3.5 hours each other week that they're hiring a liaison, right? And this person will be giving 3.5 hours every other week during the regular school year, and that'll be between 3 schools, or is it just one school?
Well,
Buena Vista and Paramount High.
Correct. Thank you, Mrs. Hanson. It would be between, those are the 2 schools that have seniors. So Buena Vista and Paramount High School. And our representative from Cerritos has become an invaluable partner of ours. As you know, registering for community college, there are a lot of, for lack of a better word, hoops that students have to jump through and navigate that they're not necessarily familiar with. So having the extra support on our sites to help students that want to participate, for example, in Cerritos Complete, which, as you know, is the 2-year initiative at Cerritos that provides free tuition. Having that support on site is invaluable. This is our 2nd year, I believe. We initially brought this to the board 2 years ago based upon the feedback that we've received not only from our principals, but also our college and career counselors as something that for a low cost, we can provide a whole lot of service And that's exactly what this service has provided us.
So the two schools will share the 3.5 hours
Correct.
every other week.
And our representative is a Paramount High School alum, so he knows the community here quite well and knows our school. And again, he's been invaluable. That's why you see Cerritos' complete participation rising steadily.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. 3.11A, motion passed. Now we'll go to 3.12A, page 148, staff recommendation, approve the credit by examination articulation agreement with Cerritos College for the CTE Civil Engineering and Architecture PLTW courses at Paramount High School. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, motion passed. 3.12A. Now we're going to 3.13A, staff recommendation, approve the credit by examination articulation agreement with Cerritos College for the baking and pastry course at the Paramount High School, page 153. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Yesenia Cuarenta made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Vivian Hanson made the second. Any discussion?
Just want to say thank you very much. I mean, I love that you're reaching out to the colleges and making this happen for our students, and I'm losing my voice. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. Not absolutely on your voice, absolutely on provided courses. Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 4-0, motion passed. 3.13A. 3.14A, staff recommendation, approve the revised Odyssey STEM Academy course, Mixed Media Art Studio, to be a 10-unit course, 10-unit credit 1-year course instead of a 5-credit 2-year course, page 158. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
That was Yesenia? Okay, Yesenia Cuarenta made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Vivian Hanson, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Sorry. 4-0, motion passed. 3.14A. Now we're going to 3.15A, page 159. Staff recommendation, approve the adoption of the that was this here. Approve the adoption of the Interact Mathematical Program, Course 3, and the purchase of textbooks for 2019-2000 school year. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Yesenia Cuarenta made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll move. I'll second.
Vivian Hanson made the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, motion passed. 3.15A. Now we're going to 3.16A, page 161. Staff recommendation, approve the adoption of the Global Societies and Sustainability English Language Arts 3 honor course for the 2019-2020 school year. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Yesenia Cuarenta made the motion. May I have a second? I'll make the second. Armin Gomez made the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, motion passed. 3.16A. Now we're going to 3.17A, staff recommendation, approve the adoption of the environmental sustainability course and the purchase of textbooks for 2019-2020 school year. That's on page 163. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, 4-0, motion passed. 3.17A. Now we're going to 3.18A, staff recommendation, approve the adoption of the Global Societies and Sustainability World History Honors Course for 2019-2020 school year on page 165. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta, second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
4-0, motion passed. 3.18A. We're going to 3.19A, staff recommendation, approve the adoption of the advanced speech and debate course and the purchase of textbooks for 2019-2020 school year on page 167. May I have a motion?
I'll move. This is awesome.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Ksenia Cuarenta second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion 4-0, motion passed 4-0, 3.19A. We're going to 3.20A, staff recommendation, approve the adoption of the Language Arts 1 intensive course for 2019-2020 school year on page 169. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia DeLone made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Vivian Hanson made the second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
4-0, motion passed. 3.20A. Now we're going to 3.21A, staff recommendation, approve and revise Odyssey STEM Academy course, Leaving to Learn course for the 2019-2020 school year. Page 171. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia Cuarenta seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 3.21A. Now we're going to business services on page 173. Staff recommendation, approve the 2018-2019 budget adjustments for the general funds, unrestricted and restricted, adult education fund, child development fund, cafeteria fund, Measure I fund, and the capital facilities fund. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Yesenia Cuarenta made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Vivian Hanson second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sonia, did you say aye? Okay, sorry. 4-0, motion passed. 4.1A. We're going to 4.2A on page 184. Accept as completed the field service contracts for remodel of multipurpose room at Moakler, replace storage buildings at Paramount High West Campus, classroom electrical and related services for 11 classrooms at Wertz, and exterior painting at Moakler's, and authorize the superintendent or designee to file the notices of completion and make payment to all contracted parties upon expiration of the lien period and determination that no liens are outstanding. So page 184. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Vivian Hanson made the motion. May I have a second? I'll make the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0, motion passed. 4.2A. We're going to 4.3A, page 186, staff recommendation, approve the above mentioned contract to the lowest responsive bidders as identified above. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second? Yes, I'll make the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Sonia, did I hear an aye?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passed 4-0, 4.3A. Now we're going to 4.4A, page 187, staff recommendation. Authorize staff to prepare bid specification and seek bids for manufacturing and installation of covered walkways at Howard Tanner School.
I'll move.
I'll second.
So Vivian Hanson did the motion, Sonia De Leon second. Any discussion?
I just want to say that they really need covered walkways because they don't have anything, and when it rains,
It's bad.
the children get wet. So I'm glad that we're getting this.
So when it's all done, if we can let know so we can all go walk over there.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed 4-0, 4.4A. Going to 4.5A, page 188, staff recommendation, authorize staff to prepare bid specification and seek bids for Captain Raymond Collins relocatable project. Authorize the superintendent designee to advertise, review, and award bids to the lowest responsive and responsible bidders and execute all necessary documents. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Yesenia 40 made the motion. May I have a second?
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Sonia De Leon, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed. 4.5A. We're going to 4.6A now. Staff recommendation, adopt resolution 18-26, authorizing staff to apply for state grant funding beyond state bond authority for modernization projects on page 189. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Sonia De Leon made the motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Yesenia 40 made the second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0, motion passed for 4.6A. Now we're going to the informational information. These items are intended to keep the board informed on various district businesses matters that do not require formal action by the board. Superintendent Dr. Perez?
Yes, this information, board members, is on the Williams quarterly uniform complaint summary that is conducted by the state and LACO. This one was conducted January 1st through March the 31st, which is the quarter. They do that quarterly, and there were no findings.
Fantastic.
The second one, and the ones through the end of the agenda this evening, information item 4.1I, our monthly financial statements for the month of March. Revenues received in excess of $100,000 are listed for you, and the financial statements for each of these follows that. Information item 4.2I, monthly financial statement for special education for the month of March. Revenues received in excess of $100,000 are listed for you, board members, and that's followed by the financial statements. Information item 4.3I is monthly financial statement for the self-insurance fund, and those contributions for the month of March are listed for you, board members, and the financial statements follow. And information item 4.4I, general education, our actual ADA decreased by 327 from the projected P2 report ADA, actual daily attendance, for the 6th month of 2018 to 19. The actual enrollment as of the 6th month decreased by 410 students compared to last year, and the rate of attendance is 96% compared to last year, which was 97%. For special education, the actual ADA increased by 41 from the projected P2 ADA report for the 6th month of 18-19, and the actual enrollment as of the 6th month increased by 11 from 17-18 to 18-19. And that concludes this section.
Thank you, Dr. Perez. And now we go to announcements. The next study session would be Monday, April 29th, and Monday, May 6th at the boardroom of the district office. Next regular meeting would be Monday, May 13th, 6 p.m. in the boardroom of the district. Prior to the close of the session, as necessary, staff employee comments are taken per government code 54957. So any staff or employee wants to make any comments at this time? Nope. Okay, so at this time, we will go into closed session at 8:39, I believe it is. Yeah, 8:39 p.m.
Which items are we going to cover in closed session?
Oh, yeah,
please?
sorry, yes. Okay, 8:39. And we will be discussing at the closed session agenda is number 1, conference with labor negotiator per government code 54957.6. District negotiator Myrna Morales on CSEA and TAP. Item number 2, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation per government code 54956.9, 2 cases. And number 3, public employee discipline, dismissal, release per government code 54957. We'll see you back when we're done.
I don't know how to turn this off. Ruben, how do we turn?
He's there, he's there, he's there, the gentleman's there.
Yes.
Wait till it's, it's still on.
I'll make sure that's yes.
We'll make sure it says.
Yes, got it.
We'll make sure it says different.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, take care.
Oh,